space. Well, not really. Take two. Here, in the Mitten State. Welcome to Code 47, bringing you all things Star Trek. Spanning the quadrants, the best thing since the neutral zone.
All right, hey, welcome back. This is the Code 47 podcast on the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. I am Charlie Carden, your humble servant, Trek Lord of West Michigan, joined by my intrepid co-host over there in beautiful Pennsylvania, serving on the USS Nomad. This is Erin. Erin, say hello.
Hello.
So, Erin, this is your first time back solo as a regular part of the program, just you and I. So thank you again for joining me on this journey. How is your weekend going?
It's going great. Thank you for asking. Lots of chocolate.
Chocolate, yeah. Tomorrow's April 4th, Easter. Double whammy because it is my wife's April's birthday. So we get to celebrate by going out. There's a local botanical garden called the Meyer Garden here in Grand Rapids that has a butterfly exhibit, which April's always very fond of. And I think the last 3 or 4 years we've missed it. But, you know, we're alone, no kids this weekend, and a birthday on a Sunday. So it's all good stuff. So anyway, fascinating chat. But we are actually here to launch the first recap of Star Trek Enterprise. Star Trek Enterprise kicked off in the fall of 2001, starring a venerable genre actor, one of my favorite dudes, and I just loved him in the role, Scott Bakula as Captain Jonathan Archer. And the premise of the series taking place a little over 100 years before Star Trek, the original series, is the voyage of the first Warp 5 capable Starfleet vessel. And this is before the founding of the Federation. This is before we met the Romulans. This is before we met a lot of different species that we're familiar with in the more prime 24th century era of Star Trek The Next Generation and DS9 and Voyager. So it's a prequel, and my partner Todd over on SFU Prime is fond of saying that he hates prequels because if the story was so great, you would have told the story in the first place instead of dreaming it up after the fact. So we will attempt in this breakdown of the first half of the season to figure out if that is correct or if there is some narrative power within kind of what they told. So that being said, let's kick it off with the pilot, episodes 1/2, Broken Bow. So Erin, tell us all about it.
Enterprise is launched, and Captain Archer finds himself in the middle of a temporal Cold War involving the Klingons and Suliban.
So we have a new race. We have an old race. It's kind of like something borrowed, something blue, something new. I know how does that go?
Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Okay, so the uniforms are blue. The Klingons are old. Suliban are new. And the concept of a prequel is borrowed from any other type of storytelling.
Yes,
where they get retroactive. So I remember my life at this time. I was newly single. I was going through a divorce, so I was on my own. A lifetime Star Trek fan. Voyager had ended the previous spring. So this was, every Star Trek series that came along from, TNG to DS9 to Voyager to this had to approach with a different hook. So, TNG was, bringing Star Trek into a modern storytelling in the 80s. You know what I mean? Then DS9 is, we don't have a ship, we're on a station. Voyager was we're on a ship, but we're totally far removed from everything that, because we're on the other side of the galaxy. And this is, let's dial it back 200 years and we'll give you a ship that has wonky looking controls, and we have the transporter, but it's kind of weird, so we don't know how we're feeling about it. And we're running around in shuttle pods, and the ship is really small, and it looks like a submarine, and there's no Federation of Planets, so the Vulcans are out there, but they're kind of a huge pain in the ass. And they seemed a little, and the characters, while they had gone through the World War III experience and the aftermath of it, which we saw in Star Trek First Contact. And they were a little bit, they were more societally potentially evolved than we are in this day and age, but they were still kind of snarky. Like, Archer is very snarky towards the Vulcans because they held my dad's research back, and he would have finished his ship 30 years earlier, and he died of some disease or whatever.
That's what I don't. That was the most unappealing thing to me about this whole series, was this whole unevolved attitude toward things. And I hate to admit this, but I'm going to. I didn't watch this until 10 years ago.
Okay. And it was were you a fan at the time but turned off to it that you didn't want to watch it, or is there another reason?
I loved Voyager. I was like, this is not my thing at all.
Wow.
But then I got to a point where I was so desperate for new Star Trek content that I ended up watching it. And, it's not my favorite, but I like it. And I got to tell you, that all of that being said, this is my favorite series premiere of any of the Star Trek series.
I can't disagree with you. It seems the most kind of fully formed, and it seems like they really go somewhere, not physically. They physically go somewhere, but each of the characters, your main characters, all seem to kind of take a leap. You know what I mean? They start somewhere, they evolve a little bit, and then we're poised for the series to begin, for them to continue to have kind of an emotional journey. So I agree with you there. And, and still, there is the suspension of disbelief that, well, if the ship looked like this and the tech looked like this, how did it end up looking like the original series? And there's
a lot of as you go through this, I noticed so many technical mistakes that they made.
Right.
I mean, the story's good. Everything seems to be well written. So I don't have as many criticisms as I normally would with what we've done so far. But there were a lot of incidents that I noticed where wow, they really didn't do that right, did they?
Yeah, exactly correct. So, and again, to extend that metaphor, it does get even more different back when, back, and then obviously in Discovery, they've kind of totally revamped what a TOS ship looked like. So that looks a little bit more like this, which to my regard, even as a purist, I like the fact that they're not like, okay, well, we're going to set Strange New Worlds in the time of Pike, but all the sets have to look exactly like they looked in The Cage, which was crappy, and everything looked like it was made out of cardboard. So that's okay. It's a new, you can't take that kind of stuff and put it in front of a modern audience and think that it's going to hold water. So I like the fact that they were approaching a new aesthetic, which would be kind of ongoing into this. So that's okay by me. That is absolutely okay.
Even their costumes are a lot more closely related to modern Air Force attire than Star Trek.
Right, and I think some people also said kind of had hints of NASA. They look like flight suits, which is good because these guys were more astronauts than they were of anything else. So yeah, it's definitely that kind of a denim jumpsuit is better than the gold velour that you saw Captain Kirk wearing. So I definitely think it's a better approach. So well, cool. Moving on, episode 3, Fight or Flight.
Ensign Sato faces her fears as an alien ship whose crew was murdered, while Lieutenant Reed tries to upgrade the ship's defense systems.
So, to me, early filler episode.
I wrote dislike.
I wrote dislike emoji 5 times in a row.
Yeah, it was a lot of filler, wasn't it?
Right. It was like, oh, he's playing with the tech, and Sato's a big wuss. Okay, great. Boring. Moving. And then
I gotta disagree a little bit. I did like them developing Hoshi's character a little bit, and right off the bat.
Fair. Yeah, that's right. I don't think it really holds a tone that she becomes more of a major character in the series based on this, because again, you kind of end up with Star Trek follows in a lot of ways like a big 3. So in this, it's the top 3 officers. It's the captain, the first officer, in this case, the chief engineer. You feel like those characters get more of a say in, like Travis Mayweather, for example, gets a story arc literally in the second to last episode of the series. So it's like they just, we better do something with him because he's done jack shit for the entire series, though he does get a little character development early on. I think overall for a season, everybody gets a little piece of that. A little bit of character development. So yeah. I suppose so. I suppose so. But But yeah, I say dislike. Definitely a filler episode. And without further ado, I kind of feel the same way about the next episode. I didn't really feel like they accomplished a hell of a lot.
I liked it.
Well, tell us all about it then, please.
Okay. Strange New World. A storm traps an away team in a cave on an alien world, and pollen spores cause them to experience psychosis.
So you're saying you liked it? Is it a little bit more of a riff on like the Naked Time or the Naked Now, which they did in TNG?
Yeah, it is.
The virus thing. Yeah.
I loved T'Pol in this. I think that this might be my favorite episode she was ever in.
Really? Yeah. I mean, she really kept her cool until the very end. And then she kind of, she succumbed to the spores. And of course, it was the beginning of, I will tell you, at least it was the beginning of kind of what is the burgeoning relationship between, she and Trip, which obviously really catapults into season 3. And then, things have developed throughout the end of the series. So yeah, it was, even further in the series when Trip meets T'Pol's mother, and she asks, how long have you been attracted to my daughter? Well, and after he's like, feigns like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It says, well, I always knew there was something between us the first time we had an argument. I never enjoyed arguing with anybody that much. So this is a great example of when that was happening. So yeah, I kind of dig it.
My boyfriend does not like this episode.
No.
And we watched it together so I could do the podcast, and he pretty much complained the whole time. He said, I hate that Florida boy.
Florida boy.
I know, he was shouting at the captain, why don't you try not to bang the shuttle on the mountain this time?
Man.
He absolutely hated it. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh boy. It's like sitting with your grandpa watching him yell at a football game. My goodness.
I know, and I'm just looking over saying, I like it.
I like it. Zip it. Well, I really like this next episode 5, which is Unexpected.
Oh no. Can we change the name of it to Wrist Nipple, please?
Oh, please, let's do it.
Okay, Wrist Nipple. Commander Tucker helps an alien crew fix their engines and has an interspecies encounter on a holodeck and returns to find himself pregnant.
First of all, show notes. The sub name of this episode is going to be called Wrist Nipple. I'll see if I can definitely get that to be put on publication. So I'll do this while when you start talking about the next one.
How about Pregnant Trip and the Wrist Nipple? Pregnant
Trip and the Wrist Nipple. Well, one of the two of us has to make notes then, so Extra changes it.
I have notes.
Okay, I have notes. Very good. I thought it was fun. It was a great example of it. It was a great example of doing something kind of different and weird, but then also, introducing technology that just goes nowhere because they bump into the species, which is kind of siphoning power off of Enterprise in their wake under a cloak, so that they can, and they need Trip's help to repair it. So
he something like that on Voyager too. There's a ship in their wake.
Yeah, I'm sure, and it'll probably take until we get to the episode for me to remember which one it was. But
I have a question for you about this, and I was really wondering it when I was watching. They introduced the holodeck, which is, very cool, and you assume that's where they get all the holodeck technology for all the rest of the series. Great. But do they ever get into this more? Because you never hear about the species again that has this technology.
Well, and that's the big issue with a prequel. Like, oh, we introduced this thing, or, and so how come we've never heard about it again? And so, they run into this in Star Wars because they had a whole prequel trilogy. Like, don't
let Todd hear you say that.
Oh no, I know right. So to support his position is probably a very bad idea, but you make a good point. So yeah, this race, you're never going to hear about him again because, again, we had Enterprise, then there was nothing on TV for a while, then there was the JJ movies, and now we're into the more modern era of storytelling. So it's possible, but it's also never really confirmed how the holodeck technology that Starfleet uses, if it has any connection to this, if it was done, because again, at the end of this, the Klingons come along and it has a deal that the Klingons aren't going to blow these aliens up. They say, give us the holodeck technology, and then crickets. Never again. Yeah. It's never mentioned because, again, it's a terrible example of how a prequel introduces a new story element that should translate to previous versions of it, like you should have seen it in TOS then, or you should have heard about it in TOS, and or in the movies or whatever it is, but you never do. So yeah, it's it's like there's an explanation. It's like the bumpy-headed Klingons versus the smooth-headed Klingons, which they finally resolved, but it took 30 years for them to do it, to come up with an explanation, which actually comes out of the show in season 4.
Yeah.
So it was fun. Yeah. What was it? Did you already enter that into the show notes? No, you did not. Let's see here. So, what did you want to call this one?
Oh, I can write it in.
No, I'm doing it right now.
Pregnant, trip, and the wrist nipple.
Whoops. Okay. Pregnant, trip, and the wrist nipple. I like it.
Why did he get a nipple on his wrist, though? Like, I mean, because men already kind of have nipples, so.
Ours is not to ask why.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Pregnant, trip, and the wrist nipple. Okay, moving on to episode number 6. One that I enjoyed. Tell me about it.
Enterprise is sent to learn what happened to an early human colony called Terra Nova.
I dug it. Oh
my God, it was way too long for me. I was bored. It was an all too familiar plot. But LeVar Burton, again, they directed it.
Right.
I thought for sure you wouldn't like this one.
Well, what made you think? Okay, that's an interesting perspective.
We usually have consensus.
You think so?
Yeah.
I like the concept of it because, again, you can think about, well, if this is the first Warp 5 vessel, then in the 100 or so years of space exploration that happened before this, there are obviously other there were sleeper ships like the one Khan was on, that they finally find him in the era of TOS and wake him up, that people who had to get on a ship, and because the voyages were so long, they would sleep, or it would take them 20 years to get somewhere instead of 2 weeks to get somewhere.
No, but so the whole thing reminded me of that episode of Voyager. The one where they go to the planet and it had they found some sort of Earth thing, and then there was like a nuclear fallout and they were all living underground. It reminded me of that. I was like, this is the same thing.
I'm struggling with the episode of I know the exact one you're talking about.
Do you?
Yeah, you're right. That's no, you know what? I lied. I have a vague idea of the one you're talking about.
It's like almost like word for word the same thing. And then, they're really hostile toward them because they don't trust them because of what humans did.
Right.
I was just way too much of a ripoff of that episode for me. So right. I didn't enjoy it as much as you did, but I probably have more of a clear recollection of that Voyager episode.
That might be what's lacking. And yeah, you're right. I mean, some of the Voyager, and again, I watched Voyager all the way through, but you're right. Some of the samenesses of the plot are probably what led to this being the first Star Trek show that was canceled in 30 years. You know what I mean? So yeah. And again, it's and not off to a great start, but that being said, the next episode does flesh out a very underserved race that ends up being quite spectacular, I think, throughout the course of the series. So, episode 7, the Andorian Incident.
And this episode, the Andorian Incident, I actually didn't watch it because I've seen it so many times because I enjoy it so much that I didn't need to.
Well, all right. Well, then you can free riff it through there. So describe it for us, please.
All right. Captain Archer, Commander Tucker, and Sub-Commander T'Pol are taken hostage by Andorians in the Vulcan monastery called P'Jem.
Well, I love this, not only for the fact that we get the absolutely superb Jeffrey Combs back.
Yes.
The multiplayer, the guy who gave us 2 wonderful roles on Deep Space Nine, of course.
What a great way to intro this new race, too, with him. I loved it.
Yeah, give it a face that you're like, for fans are going to be like, yes. And for the uninitiated, they can think that's a very strong performance of a dude. But yeah, he was obviously the Vorta, and he was Brunt from the FCA, the Ferengi character. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, you're introduced to the Andorians, who, having made one significant appearance in the original series, where you have a character who describes his race as being violent warriors, but you never really see much for it. You get another couple of background character appearances scattered throughout TOS, but really nothing else more substantive. This begins Shran, who I would say as Brunt's character, as Jeffrey Combs' character, some real meat. And you establish that they have beef with the Vulcans, which was never really something of significance before. They're from neighboring systems, they're warring species, and this goes to serve the fact that Vulcans never lie. It kind of pokes holes in the fact that Vulcans never lie, or they're never going to let you know they're lying, or they're going to be sneaking around doing their own shit, which is exactly what this episode is all about, because it's a great, this is a primitive monastery, and we're here for study and shit, and they've got this big crazy subspace telescope underground. So, a good poke in the hole of the pomposity of the Vulcans, I think, is also really well served by this episode.
I loved how T'Pol was so disappointed in the Vulcans when she finds out that they weren't being honest. And I think that really sets up her for the rest of the series.
Yes, no, I totally agree. Agree.
Roxanne Dawson directed this.
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
I know, I was excited.
And this one, from that article you shared with me, this was kind of her blossoming of transitioning to behind the camera, which is, very common. Robbie McNeil, obviously from Voyager, also that is what he does for a living now. He really does.
He's going to he's going to do one of the ones, too, that we talk about today.
Awesome.
Hey, did you notice Jeffrey Combs, though? Whenever he turns his neck, you can see where there's no makeup, and you can see his actual skin, like right on his neckline.
Really? Good.
Yeah,
catch.
You see it twice, and I was like, oh, come on, guys.
Oh man, I'm impressed that it's not anything I've ever caught.
You'll notice it next time.
I bet I will. But anyway, one thing that will not impress, in my opinion, would be episode 8, Breaking the Ice.
Yeah, my comment's meh. So here we go.
Okay. Right.
Breaking the Ice. Lieutenant Reed and Ensign Mayweather extract a rare chemical on a comet while Subcommander T'Pol considers marriage to Koss.
So you don't see Koss in this, but the character does show up later in the series. But extract a rare chemical, boring. You get a really dickwad Vulcan captain, boring. Like, guy's just outright just a jerk to the captain.
I wrote on here that guy's a dick.
That guy, dick. Breaking my one, my one commandment in life. My friend Miranda always loves to quote me when I say this. I said, "What's Charlie's number one rule? Don't be a dick." And this guy breaks Charlie's number one rule. So screw him. Very forgettable episode. Let's move on.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait,
you don't want to talk about all the problems with physics?
Oh, I'd love to talk about problems with physics. Break it down for me.
Okay. On the comet, they built a snowman.
Gravity would not hold it in place.
Right, but then this guy hurts his leg, but he's too heavy to carry.
Oh, no. Nerds.
Yep. All right, that's it. I just want to complain about physics, and we can move on to civilization.
Ooh, yes, please.
Captain Archer and an away team go undercover to a pre-industrial civilization in order to investigate an unexpected sensor reading.
First impressions?
Garros is a dick.
Such a dick. He's also breaking Charlie's number one rule. I don't like it. Was this the first contact with an alien, like kind of an established civilization? I assume that thus the name of the episode. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like that. I like the kind of the whodunit. They caught a guy who was a ne'er-do-well.
And I like that the scientist in the industrial civilization is a female. That was very cool. Otherwise, I've got nothing. I did not like this episode.
Oh, no. Okay. I mean, like I said, I thought it was passable, but it was super duper forgettable. I mean, there's an episode, it might even be later this season or even in early next season, that is called The Communicator, where they visit a planet and they leave a communicator behind. I feel like it seems very similar. Oh, pre-industrial society, we don't want to we don't have the prime directive, but we feel like we should have the prime directive. So, whatever. Yeah, it's very, very forgettable. I got you there. So, episode 10 does actually give us some honest to God character development for, I feel like it's the last piece of character development he gets for another 3 years for Travis Mayweather in episode 10, Fortunate Son.
A cargo ship, is it called Fortunate?
Yes.
Okay. The cargo ship Fortunate is damaged by a Nausicaan pirates, and the Enterprise offers a helping hand, only to find the acting captain has secret plans.
And the acting captain is actor Lawrence Monson, who was a child actor, but now I can't remember what he was a child actor in. I'd have to look it up.
I don't remember either. I remember reading about that, though.
But he's also kind of, in general, kind of weird looking. So, and I think as an adult, he was way more weird looking as a kid, but still, you look at him, he's got like big buck teeth, so it's like it's just kind of bizarre to make it as an actor. But and this is again LeVar Burton directing, so thought he did a great job.
I think maybe I just don't like him as a director, and I wish I did because I think he's great. But all the episodes that he directs, I don't like.
Are just total stinkers. So
well, for me, you might like this one. I said boo.
I thought again, I like Travis. He's kind of a flat character, and I guess I like him even less at the end of the series where they try to really cram some like character development into him and give him a backstory, which they never did before. But yeah, this early on, I'm also kind of annoyed by the fact that the Nausicaans, which we saw in TNG as the alien race that one of them stabbed Picard through the heart, and that's why he has an artificial heart.
Yeah.
But when they were portrayed in that flashback Q episode where we kind of walked through the paces of what there was, they like very have a mumble grumble command of the English language where they talk like cavemen, where in this they just talk like normal people.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that I found as someone who's a nitpicker, I found that super annoying. So an okay episode, but again, we're okay-ish, lukewarm maybe. But I
promise I like all the other ones.
Well, my God, then just go for it. Number 11, please.
All right, Cold Front. Captain Archer learns that crewman Daniels is covertly helping to fight the temporal Cold War against Silic and the members of the Suliban Cabal.
Well, directed by Robbie McNeil, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think?
I liked it. I know that the first episode in the description said that it was the beginning of the temporal Cold War, but I think that this episode actually was.
Yeah, no, totally. And again, we get a return of Silic in this episode. You get Daniels, who's a character who comes on, and he's going to be pivotal. Now he's dead, but he's not really dead because
it's his first death.
Right. So yeah, it's the it's the timelines and stuff. Something that's very pervasive in Marvel cinematic storytelling now, because you've got Captain America's here and he's dead, and you have another version and blah blah blah. So yeah, I dig it. And again, I will never forget that at the time the nonstop drumbeat of whining, we call them neckbeards now, people who are just armchair warriors that bitch about everything. Temporal Cold War, boo. I'm like, why is that a boo?
Yeah, I liked it.
What's wrong with the temporal Cold War? It's a science fiction-y kind of convention. In the end of it, when it comes to an end in the 2-part season premiere of season 4, the Stormfront one, I absolutely friggin' loved that one. That was one of the greatest. I totally dug it. So I love the temporal Cold War. It's not like, I wanted more of it, but they did some really good stuff with it, including the season finale of this season. So yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed the Suliban, but again, they're another race that, much like with the Xindi, which was the focus of season 3, you never hear about them again. But that is the nature of the fact that this was a prequel. It signaled a long pause in Star Trek TV. So it's not to say that it couldn't end up coming back, but whatever. It's really, it's not terribly pivotal. So that's okay. So, all right. We're in the home stretch
ready?
now. Yeah, we're in the home stretch now. So
Silent Enemy. Ensign Sato tries to find out what Lieutenant Reed's favorite food is, while Captain Archer deals with a secretive and aggressive alien first contact. Wow, I loved her trying to figure out what his favorite food was. I really liked it.
Really?
I did.
It seems like a kind of a it is kind of cute because it's kind of a weird thing, and it's a departure because it's not maybe a very Star Trek-y kind of thing. So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it was interesting. And Reed is super boring. So
super boring. God.
I like how they illustrated, like, not only is his character seeming kind of super boring, he just is super boring.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
His parents aren't interested in him. None of his friends know anything about him.
Yeah, it's surprising that he has his sister's like, well, he's not the easiest person to get to know, is basically a way of saying he's a dud, don't waste your time.
Right.
So yeah, it's just not a very interesting cat. So episode 13, I agree with you, was a capper, great way to end this half season.
Yes.
So tell us, please. Yes, good one.
Okay, dear Doctor. Dr. Phlox and Captain Archer must decide the fate of 2 species suffering from an evolutionary pandemic. Wow, groundwork for the Prime Directive, right?
I know, dug in deep. So yeah, you get what becomes a very, easy tourist, like, oh, that's just so very Star Trek, and they've got the Prime Directive, and you can't do this and you can't do that.
And Captain Archer makes a hard decision, and he makes the right decision.
Right, exactly. So based on him based on him and his own values, being raised in the Earth, and again it's Earth Starfleet, so it's not the Federation with this charter of conglomerated rules and the different views of different societies. It's just he's out there and he has to make the tough, kind of frontiersman call of doing the right thing, and he ends up doing the right thing, and it's great. So yeah, I agree. For almost really a highlight of this first part of the season. So I think that it's good because
it even has that quote. Do you remember that where he's like, someday they'll have some kind of directive for things like
quotes,
this.
Some kind of directive, exactly
right.
Correct. So yeah, well, cool. No, I totally dug it. So first half of the season, and again, this was back in the days when a season on network television was 26 episodes, which seems so unimaginable now because network TV arguably is dying, because I know I don't hear a ton of people buzzing about network shows anymore. We barely watch any. So all the shows.
I don't have cable.
We haven't had cable for a few years now, but even like with Hulu, where you can still get shows that might air on ABC and stuff, have really dropped off the radar for me personally. The shows we're watching now.
I only watch them now if they come onto Netflix like a couple years later, and then I'll watch it.
Right. So really, you're outside of the system of the ratings and the commercials and the blah blah blah. So yeah, back in this day, it was pivotal to have that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely really weird to have 26 episodes. So I will be returning, obviously, in our next episode with Rich, your co-host, to wrap this deal up. So that's that. If you were to give the half season a rating, what would you give it? One out of 10 Vulcaneers, not in pairs.
Let's see. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Wow, I would probably go with maybe a 5. I thought, of the 13, maybe half of them were kind of sort of worthwhile, but then also enhanced by the fact that the series premiere was 2, and it was such a kicker, and we loved it. So yeah, 5 for you, 7 for 7 for you, 5 for me. So
I was 8 out of 13.
8 out of 13 that you liked, okay?
Yep.
And you actually worked out the math for that? I'm impressed.
I did. I write like and dislike and hearts,
right.
And I have all these little symbols on my notes.
Oh my goodness, taking notes. Me, I'm just so stream of consciousness after these years. So I'm glad you're grounded and I'm the cowboy. Pew pew pew.
That's okay.
All right, so on to the news. We have 2 stories, and then we have just something fun about April Fool's Day. So the crowdfunder to make To the Journey, which is the Voyager 25th anniversary documentary, has absolutely blown the doors off all over the place. It's raised more money.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's raised more money than any documentary in history, according to this article from TrekMovie.com, which they've kind of become our unofficial source for things that we talk about on the show. So I like that website very much. I'm also a regular listener of their podcast. So who knows? Maybe someday we'll team up. That would be awesome. But it turns out in the time that they've been running this, even just in March, To the Journey was supported by nearly 12,000 fans. With the last 1,700 coming in within the last couple of days. Even has a great picture from Twitter of Nana Visitor with a great T-shirt that I would get.
Oh my God, I would love to have that shirt.
I would get this for April hands down, because without a doubt Janeway is her favorite character too. So they're raising money all over the damn place. They smashed their goals, and so they did hit. My goodness, kind of beyond their stretch goals. I think they hit their.
Oh yeah, they smashed it.
That is good stuff. So they're going to be bringing back, increasing the runtime to 90 minutes and remastering footage into HD, which is I would say the part of it that I'm the most excited about. So that is awesome. The team is planning on filming the Voyager reunion at October's Destination Star Trek convention in London. So this will be great. Do we have a drop date of this and when we might actually hope to see it? Next year? I'm sure they're going to be.
I don't think they put a date on it yet. I mean, they're just collecting money, so. Who knows how long it'll take?
Well, hopefully they will do some good thing with that money. So I'm fired up for this. So we will, when these documentaries drop, you can count on basically a full-length episode where that is what we will tackle without a doubt. So, all right, moving on to talk about something kind of fun, and you'll have to let me know if that one that you forgot, that if you've thought about it since we've been talking. But today is April 3rd, so a couple of days ago was April Fool's Day, which is very famous for the clickbaitiest of articles out there. So a day actually dedicated to clickbait on social media, creating fake headlines of things that aren't happening. So we had a couple of Trek ones that I saw. Both of which ones that I really want to happen. Is that wrong?
No, I do too.
There was a clickbait one, of course, and I talked about this on Secret Friends, which we also recorded today, about a green lighting by Paramount CBS of a story called a series called Star Trek Riker that would chronicle Riker and Troy's journeys on the Titan. Boo. Don't mess with my emotions. You suck, April Fool's Day. And then the other one is really apropos to what we're talking about now. Green lighting of a 5th season of Enterprise by CBS. So obviously neither one of these is going to happen. The Enterprise one is interesting because there is quite a bit of material out there, so much so that I have slated a tentative episode down the road for us to talk about the 5th season of Enterprise, things that might have happened within. So that's for a ways down the road. And I may have to reanalyze that because I may not have enough material to make that happen. But that's what I'd like to do. It's on my would-be nice list, so we'll see if that comes to pass. So have you thought of the other one yet? Did it come back to you?
No, it didn't. I mean, well. It wasn't very good. I was like, oh, that one's dumb.
Right, it's lame. Not even something that anybody would care about.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you what, something that people will care about is this swag story. So you were so fired up about this one, I'm gonna let you take it. You go right ahead.
So cute. Star Trek: The Next Generation rubber duckies beaming down to your tub.
So yeah, what do we got? What are they offering us here? What do we got?
They're just cute. I mean, in the pictures, there's one of Picard and there's one of Worf with a bat'leth. The Worf one, every time I look at it, it cracks me up. It's absolutely hilarious. But they say that there's also LaForge, Deanna Troi. So it's a set of 4.
Right, and are they joining, or they're also being produced a TOS series? It looks like we've got, the classic Trinity, Kirk, Spock, McCoy. And then, of course, Lieutenant Quack Uhura or Uhura, whatever it is. But these are fun, and they say, yeah, they're up for pre-order now, so probably destined for shipping in June. So, I haven't done the whole. I know you have a younger daughter, so your rubber ducky days are probably closer to you than mine are, because my kids are all grown, or just about.
I'll take a bath with a rubber duck in it. I don't care.
I will.
This is great.
And I'm not a bath taker as an adult. April is, so maybe I will have to pick up a set of these.
I'm going to start just so I can have these ducks in there with some bubbles. This is going to be a good time.
To, as you say, get all your ducks in a row?
I'll line them all up and then knock them into the tub. It'll be great.
There we go. Yep. And with that boop, we actually have the end of our show. So, Erin, play us out.
Okay. For more information about Starfleet International in Michigan and beyond, please visit the Grand Petoskey and Nomad Facebook page. The Code 47 podcast is part of Secret Friends Unite. Podcasting Network is produced by Todd Oxtra.
Oh, yeah. Todd and I have been doing this for an awfully long time. The Secret Friends Unite Network is 4 shows giving you your guide to the geek side, covering video games, Star Trek, Star Wars, and general geek culture. That would be Co-op Mode, Code 47 that you're listening to right now, Secret Friends Unite, and the Holocron Chronicles. Hit us up over on Twitter, over at Secret Friends U. Let us know something you're enjoying. Subject matter is up to you. Star Wars, Star Trek, general, video games, what have you. And we will talk about your comments or answer any of your questions on the appropriate program. We've got a great merch store over on TeePublic for Secret Friends Unite. Support your favorite show, your favorite Secret Friends show. Erin, you recently took advantage of getting yourself some Secret Friends swag, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I think I might be getting 2 shirts for the price of one because they screwed up shipping on the first. But the second order did finally ship. So pretty soon I'll have this cool shirt. I'm excited to start wearing it out. It's a really cool design for this show. I love it.
I love it. And as a matter of fact, and I wasn't able to drop this on Secret Friends because Secret Friends drops on Friday, but because this show drops on Monday, April 5th, later let's say you're listening to this episode when it comes out, later this week, TeePublic has one of their sale windows where they offer about...
Oh, yeah, it's on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So go in there, shop. Their variety of merch is, hoodies, T-shirts, wall art, pillows,
the T-shirts are only $13.
Yeah, it's a
sale. It's good.
It's a steal. Proceeds do actually benefit the production of our show. We're working on a website offering original content, but of course everything costs money. Wish it was the 24th century and things didn't cost money, but they do. So your supporting us will support us in more ways than one. So visit us on both any podcasting service where you grab our show, and certainly YouTube. Leave us a 5-star review, and we will talk you up appropriately. So with that, as always, friends, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trekking.